Good evening. Um, I have to apologize. Oh my gosh. Let me change the angle, y'all. Over here. Okay. Um, you may recognize, for those of you who normally watch me, unfortunately, everybody is at a different place. Okay, so hopefully I'm looking like I'm looking at most of you. For some of you, I may be looking like I'm looking up because I am, because I think my fine people at YouTube, I have my stand angled a little too high. But so here's the deal with tonight. Number one, I have to apologize that I'm coming on late because I always tell y'all that I'll be on between 9:30 and 9:45. Well, tonight I had the privilege of having an argument with my husband. So, anyway, I had to have time to argue with him. Or should I say a disagreement? We had a disagreement. That sounds so much better, so much more civilized. So anyway, I had to have time to have a disagreement with him because, here, I want to be totally transparent with y'all. Okay? I'm married. I'm not perfect. My relationship isn't perfect, even though I speak on relationships. And the thing is, your relationship doesn't have to be perfect to speak on relationships. You just have to be continually able to. Why is it showing something on TikTok? Okay, you have to be able to maintain your relationship. For anybody to ever come to you who is a therapist or a coach or anything, a relationship coach or anything else like that, and tell you that they never argue or have disagreements with their spouse is a liar. Okay, everybody argues and has this. If you're married, if you're not married, whatever the case may be, you have arguments or disagreements with your significant other. So I mean that's just being transparent, okay? So anyway, uh he was courteous enough to understand that I was getting ready to go on live and I needed to get my mind right, and so we had a disagreement. But it's okay. It's okay because we have been together 20 plus years. This is not our first disagreement. It will not be our last disagreement. I'm certain of it. But anyway, between that and then I am in a new location for my lives, which is where I should have been in the first place. This is my office. Anyway, so I had to bring all my equipment in here and then I had to set up the angles and then I had to set up the lights and everything else. And it took me much longer than I anticipated it taking me. So, once again, I apologize for coming on late because I know that I have a primary audience that looks for me between that window and probably gave up and thought that I just wasn't coming on tonight. But no, I'm here regardless of what's going on, and what's going on is life. Life is lifing. I'm sure life is lifing for a lot of you. So no biggie, no biggie at all, no biggie at all, no biggie at all. And I actually think that my disagreement that I had with my husband ties in fabulously with tonight's topic, which is outside voices. Okay. Oh my gosh, if I lost y'all, I'm just gonna pass out. Um, okay, I didn't lose y'all. I was trying to keep my phone from going into night mode, which I need to figure out how I put night mode on and then how I can take it off on that particular phone. But anyway, if you're joining me, thank you, YouTube, thank you, TikTok, and thank you, Insta. Okay. So, outside voices is our topic for tonight. Outside voices. What is an outside voice? An outside voice is any voice that is not from within, that is not from within your mind, your voice. Okay, and why are outside voices important and worthy of talking about? They're important and worthy of talking about because As you know, our overall topic in whatever we're talking about is success, right? Success in life, success in your business, um, success in your marriage, and your personal growth, your personal success, which we've been focusing a lot on because, and why? Because unless you have personal success first and primary and foremost, you cannot really focus on all the other aspects and elements. Hello, Jordan. Uh, that have to do with your life, right? If you are not right, if you are not centered, if you are not focused, if you are not confident, then it's really hard for you to work on a relationship and have a successful relationship. If you are not right, if you're not focused, if you are not centered, then it's going to be very difficult for you to focus on your career. Okay. So we really want to start with working on ourselves first and making sure that we're confident, that we're focused, and that we're centered. And one of the ways that we do that is we have to be very careful, and we have to um we have to be very careful about who we listen to, who is speaking to us. And why is that? Well, because more people have quit before they've even begun because they've taken an idea, they get excited about something, they think about something new that they want to do that maybe is out of character or maybe very different from what they're doing right now. Maybe it's a dream that they have, right? And they take that precious dream, that precious idea, that precious thought, and they take it to somebody like their spouse, or they take it to their boyfriend or girlfriend, or they take it to their best friend, right? And they tell that little tiny growing thought idea, that that's very fragile, still in a very fragile state, and they tell it to these people. And you know what these people say? Are you crazy? And when they say that, what happens? What happens immediately? What do? You give up. You give up. You think, you know what? I was crazy to think that I could do such and such. I was crazy to think that I could do that I had the capability, that I had the skill set, that I had the experience to even think about doing that or trying that, whatever it is. And you give up. You let an outside voice tell you something about yourself. Okay? Why do you think they say move in silence? That's like a really real thing. If you have a plan, if you've thought it out, if you have a dream and you want to try something, move in silence. Don't tell everything to your friends or to your family members, okay? Because here's the problem with friends and family members. The thing is, they see you as one thing, right? If it's your mom, she's going to see you as she saw you. This is just how moms are. And I can tell you, as a mother of adult children, your parents often see you as, a 4-year old. Not, they see you as you were. When they look at you fondly, they see, oh, that's my little 4-year old, or I don't want him to get hurt or her to get hurt, or things not work out for them. Your parents oftentimes are all about, keeping you away from pain and any kind of suffering. And so often they can boo-hoo an idea, and not meaning to crush your dreams or goals, but they just don't want to see it not work out for you. So they could be negative. Another reason why you could get negativity from a friend or a family member is because they themselves didn't chase their dreams, their hopes, their goals. And so they're projecting, right? They're projecting their fears onto you, right? That's another reason that you could get a negative response. Yet another reason that you could get a negative response is because hang on. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Yet another reason you could possibly get a negative response is because they're just plain jealous. People are just plain. I don't know what Insta is saying. What is it saying? It keeps on putting this finger on my screen. Anyway, it could be because they're just plain jealous. Like you have the audacity of hope. You have the audacity to hope, to dream, to plan, to want to be something bigger, to want to be something better, and you're willing to take the risks, take the chances, to go out there and pursue it, right? Do you know how few people, like everybody has hopes and dreams? Everybody has hopes and dreams. Do you know how few people, even though it seems like everybody's an entrepreneur and everybody has their own business and everybody, whatever is a content creator or whatever, but in reality, to how many people there are on this earth, very, very few people actually go out there and make it happen for themselves. Very few people pursue their dreams. Okay. And so the majority of people are just people who think about it and wish about it. And as you should know, if you've been watching my lives, that wishing about being successful and hoping to be successful are not going to get you anywhere. Okay. You have to have there needs to be actionable movements that go toward the result of success. Okay. And so those are some of the reasons why, if you speak to people, they may be negative. And what you don't want ever is you don't want negative energy coming to you. You do not want that. You want to stay positive, think positive, and that is one of the key um, challenges as well as key points to being successful. You speak successfully, you think successfully. That's a really big one. Not only do you speak, because some people are always speaking, oh, but they're not thinking successfully. And so there's a disconnect between your thoughts and your words are very powerful, but your brain has to have buy-in to whatever it is that you want to do. So, oh, and I forgot another thing. Another reason why you may get negative reactions from friends and family that you talk to about your dreams, your goals, your plans is because and I can't believe I just lost my thought. I'm so sorry, y'all. I just lost my thought. But so we talked about jealousy, we talked about people projecting their fears onto you. And then there was another reason that I had just come up with. But it'll come back to me. It's okay. But yes, so believe it or not, you will find more success in joining a business group on Facebook or whatever group it is that you could find on Facebook that pertains to what it is that you are interested in doing. Because strangers, unfortunately, tend to be more supportive of you than family and friends. Okay. Oh, yes, I was going to say the other group are the people who are just plain destructive, that are actually smiling in your face and plotting your downfall behind your back. And I don't want to sound dramatic, but that is an actual thing. It's an actual thing. It happens to people who are on social media. It happens to people in real life who are, in real life. You will have people that will sound supportive, that will smile in your face, that will give you encouragement. But once you've told them what your plans are, they will literally go home and start praying, PRAYING, against you. Literally. Okay? If you don't share with people what it is that you plan on doing, then it's very difficult for them to specifically block what it is that you have planned. But outside voices are very destructive to you in the sense that they chip away and erode your self-esteem. Okay? They chip away and erode your self-esteem. And that is essential, something that is essential for you to have in order for you to be successful. You have to have self confidence. And the more people that say, I don't know that that's a good idea. I don't see. And there's a difference between criticism and constructive criticism. Does that make sense? So if somebody criticizes an idea, if you tell somebody, so let's say you're not telling your friends and family, right? You're going to hold off on that until you have some wins under your belt. But let's say you join a group, right? A business group on Facebook, and you're getting some criticism, but constructive criticism. So you tell them what your ideas are, and they say, you know what? That sounds good, but I don't know if there's a need for that in this particular market that you're looking at. Why don't you think about doing, so constructive criticism. Criticism is good because even though you may have an idea, if you haven't done it yet, if you haven't done it before, you obviously may not know how to do it properly. You may need some coaching. You may need some mentorship, right? You may need some constructive criticism. You may need some criticism, but it needs to be constructive criticism. Criticism that has at its end goal, this is a way to do it better, or you might want to include this element or factor in, this or whatever. So uh, it's just very important to be protective of, just like you would with a child, to be protective of your dream and to nurture it and to feed it and to do all the other elements that I do lives on um, with it. But you do need to be aware of outside opinions because it really hurts when you share something that you plan on doing or you want to do with a family member or a friend, right? And they have negative reactions um, to whatever it is. And you think, you know what, if you love me and I love this for myself, then you should love that for me as well. But unfortunately, it just really doesn't work out that way. Or like I said, I don't know if I can't remember if I mentioned jealousy or not, but when family members or friends feel like you are elevating above them, like you are now moving to the next level, like I'm not just going to sit around now and go out with you and we're going to talk and gossip about people. I'm going to now be talking about ideas, right? I'm going to be talking about making money. I'm going to be talking about discipline, right? I'm going to be talking about building my self esteem, right? And your friend is like, does that mean we're not going to sit around and talk about, Carol anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like when you show that you are outgrowing that person can become very possessive and very upset and very jealous. And so they can, start like literally plotting against you because they don't want to see you grow. They're not going to grow. They aren't growing. They don't have a great idea. They don't have any plans to do anything new in their life. And so they realize that soon you're going to outgrow them. And that is very uncomfortable to them. That is very scary to them. And so they're going to do, they're going to start acting really strange. Or I mean, people can do all kinds of things. They can start telling lies about you. They can start talking about you behind your back. They can do all kinds of things to throw you off your game so that you can't focus, right? Or just constantly negativity, negativity, negativity. You have to be very careful to steer clear of negativity. As I am on my journey, right? And I will be on my journey of pursuing excellence until the day I die, Lord willing. I have become more and more sensitive to negativity. I really can't handle it. I just really can't. I can't, and that's not to say I can't handle constructive criticism, which is always welcome. When it's constructive criticism, it's said with love, and the intent is to make me a better person, right? But what I can't handle, like I can't handle negativity. You want to speak negatively to me, you want to be negative to me. I don't have time with it. I can't align myself with that. and with people who are, I have a few people in my life who are negative and they actually love and enjoy being negative. It's like a vibe. It's like their vibe. It's like their thing. Like they're not happy with their life and so or whatever, I don't even know. And so, they exude negativity. And so, you just really have to just make sure. And that's how some people are. A lot of people are actually like that. They have issues that they haven't dealt with in their life, or they're unhappy because XYZ. And so they want to project that, right, upon people that are within their circle. And you just have to really, you're going to have to make some hard decisions about how close you allow people to get to you in this season while you are pursuing your own personal excellence. Is this person's vision aligning with mine? And if this person's vision is not aligning with my vision, then this is not the time for us to be together. Does that make sense? Um, if this person isn't actively pursuing, as a Christian, I don't use the term low vibrational, okay? But I know that's a popular term, and I know a lot of people identify that with that. I like to say there's just people that are not on the same level as you. You know, they're, I don't know, playing games all day, and you're trying to, read self-help books and improve yourself, and study and all these other things. And you're just, you're not, and that's not saying that that person isn't as good as you. That's not saying that that person is less important or anything else like that. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is there are people who just are not always on uh the same level as you find yourself on. For example, people who are really into exercise and go to the gym, 3 to 5 times a week, are not probably going to be found in a foodie group, right? Because they're going to be very disciplined about what their intake is because they have a mission and a goal, which is, health and physical improvement. So they're probably not going to have a lot in common with someone who goes out to eat, 7 times a week, right? Um, at French restaurants or something like that. So it's not that one person is better than the other person. It's just that they have different interests. And so you want to try and surround yourself with people who have the same interests as you. Let's say I'm going to make something up, okay? Just for I don't know, to make something up. Let's say you're interested in becoming a crocheter, right? And you want to start crocheting quilts and you want to do it on a professional level and you want to show your quilts at the fair and sell them and all kinds of other things, right? Let's say that's what it is that you want to do. Okay, so then you want to find other people. You want to look for associations in your area of crocheters. You may want to take a class, right? But you want to surround yourself primarily with people who are like minded and have, when you go to them with your ideas and plans and thoughts, they're like, oh my gosh, that's great. You know what? I have this pattern for you, or I have some leftover yarn, for my last project, or whatever, right? You're not going to probably have a discussion um, about your crocheting with somebody who, let's say, is, I don't know, a gamer, right? Like, what do you have in common? Nothing. So you want to make sure you're putting your hopes, your dreams in conclusion. You want to make sure that you're putting your hopes, your dreams, your thoughts, your goals, your baby. You want to make sure that you're entrusting it to somebody who's going to love it and appreciate it and who's going to nurture it the way that you would, that you want to, right? Does that make sense? You don't want to present it to someone who is not going to appreciate it, who is not going to see your vision and who's going to say, "Oh man, like there we all have friends who just see us as whatever, right? Who've known us for years and they see us as whoever, right? And that's all they see in us, right? That's all they think we are capable of because of familiarity, okay? There's the issue of familiarity when people are too familiar with you and they don't understand that you are more than just the sum of what they've known for the past x amount of years, that you have growth in you, that you have potential in you, that you have unrecognized dreams in you, that there is potential in you so much that is in you that is about to come out, that you are going to be somebody brand new. And then people also get afraid. People get afraid to they get afraid themselves. What if I fail, right? Who cares? What if you fail? At least you tried. At least you're not going to die wondering whether or not you could have been a concert violinist or something like that. At least you went out there and you tried, and whether or not you failed. So what if you fail? Then try again over and over until you succeed. Do you know how many people have failure stories? Michael Jordan was kicked off the basketball team, y'all. He was kicked off the basketball team. Oprah was told to go do something that she was good at. They told her she sucked in media when she first started. What if she had failed? Or my favorite story, I think it's Stephen King is his name, the horror genre guy. He submitted over 100 manuscripts and got rejection letters every single time. They rejected him. They told him he sucked. He had a big nail that stuck out of his wall, right? Big long nail. And he would take each rejection letter and put it on the nail. It was just a reminder of not this time, but next time. I have to keep on trying. I have to keep on going for it. Man, and look at him now, right? His books are printed worldwide. He's got I don't know how many movies, right? But what if he had stopped? What if he had failed? What if he had told his dream to somebody and they told him he was crazy? Right? What if he had stopped? So, you have to believe in yourself. The voice within you has to be stronger than the voices outside of you. There are so many success. Man, Google how many famous people were rejected or told that they sucked at whatever it is that they wanted to do and that they eventually became famous for. Or one of my favorite other stories is Harrison Ford, right? Harrison Ford, y'all do know who Harrison Ford is, right? I'm hoping that you know who Harrison Ford is. Harrison Ford was working at a studio as a carpenter. As a carpenter. As a carpenter. Okay? As a carpenter. And look, went on to fame from they needed an extra or something like that. That's how he got into Star Wars, the Star Wars franchise, the original, like I like to say the original Star Wars franchise. But it just there's so many crazy stories. Sylvester Stallone has a crazy story. There's so many people, so many famous people have crazy stories, or they started off with absolutely nothing in life, right? I mean, listen, if it's worth having, it's got to be worth working for. So don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your hopes. Keep on going. Be careful who you share your goals with, your dreams with. Be careful who you share them with. Make sure that before you share them that you are in fact with people who will appreciate and respect them the same way that you do. Okay? Don't let outside opinions steer you off course or take away your dreams. They're not doing it. Just remember the hard work, the long nights, the I was talking to one of my girlfriends today, and I was telling her, we were talking about me, well, what I do, giving, coaching to y'all. And I said, yeah, I've been doing this forever. I just haven't been doing it, on social media. And she was like, oh, she was like, yeah, you're good. And she was like, okay, that makes sense. And there was a point to the story, y'all. And see, it's getting late. That's why I'm getting sidetracked. That's why I have a zone in which I normally come on. Oh, but I was telling her, I said, it's a lot of work. Like, I think people think that I just come on and talk to y'all. Like, like it just bing every night. I'm just coming on randomly talking to people on, social media. But I'm not. I'm not. There's a lot of work that I have to do in order to mentally prepare, um, in order to coach. There's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. And people don't realize that when you do something and it seems natural or it looks natural, people just assume that, oh, it's no big deal. It is natural, right? It's just like when you hear a great violinist and you look at them playing and you're just like, oh, wow, it can't be that hard. They're doing such a great job of it. But people don't realize that was hundreds and hundreds of hours. And I mentioned violinist because I'm a violinist, but that people don't realize it was hundreds and hundreds of hours behind the scene of practice in order for them to execute playing the violin in the manner in which they do. And it's the same thing with me. Y'all have no idea how much, and that's why, I charge for coaching sessions, because people have no idea how much time I put in personal development. No idea. It is a full-time job. I mean, creating content for y'all is a full-time job that I don't get paid for. So if anybody gets anything out of any of my messages, I'm gonna start posting my Cash App so that y'all can send me a little something in appreciation, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, it takes a lot out of you. And you're constantly working on personal development. Um, I do it because I love it. I love talking to people. I love helping people, but it is a lot of work. So just realize whatever it is that you want to do, don't worry about what other people are saying to you about it, because you're the one who has to put in the work. You're the one who has to put in the hours. You're the one who has to take the risks. You're the one who has to deal with the disappointments or the failures, you're the one who has to pick yourself up and keep on going. So outside people don't have to do any of that. So it is kind of ridiculous when you think about it, giving them a lot of input when uh into your dream when they're not doing any of the labor. Does that make sense? You're the one who's laboring, and you are the one who's going to reap the harvest from your labor. So do not put too much emphasis on other people's opinions. You don't need somebody's permission to start. You don't need someone's approval to start. You don't need somebody's applause to start. You just need to start, and you just need to go for it. Okay, well, thank you very much, but I'm about to end. That's all I have for y'all for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. But it's time for this girly. I've had a long day and spoken to a lot of people, so I'm tired. Um, I'm going to go to bed. So I will see y'all, Lord willing, tomorrow. Have a great night, and thank you for watching. And let's see if I can end. Okay, good night. And of course, my YouTube people. All right. Y'all have a good night. Bye.